Okay, so what we're looking at here is a polynomial question. Now, polynomials are pretty popular on the SAT as well as the ACT, so we'll have to be as comfortable as possible when we're working through these types of problems. So, when we're working through these, always look at the absolute last part of the question. Look for what essentially is being asked of the question. Otherwise, you might get overwhelmed by all the information that you're seeing. So, we're going to start by underlining some key terms, and those would be at the end. So absolute value, implying a positive answer no matter what happens moving forward. The next part would be the product. Product meaning we're multiplying multiple numbers. And then the zeros of A. Now let's break this one down. The zeros of A involve the use of the polynomial. So when we're working through these, any of these parentheses, if we give a certain number for the unknown factor, which is t, we will get a 0 at the end, because no matter what happens, all the other functions will be multiplied by 0. So let's list them. The zeros here are going to include 3, because replace t with 3, and then it's 3 minus 3. Then you have 6, because if t is 6, you have 6 minus 6. And then finally negative 3, because if t equals negative 3, you get negative 3 plus 3. And those would give us the 0 factors for a parentheses t. Now, there's still the t minus k portion that we still don't know about. But note the last part here. Given that a parentheses 2 is equal to 0. These are all t values. And saying given that a parentheses 2 is equal to 0, this is telling us that 2 is also a t value, which means that 2 is also a 0. So, now that we know all 4 zeros, we're going to start with actually lining up the products of them. So 2 times 3 times negative 3 times 6. So, that answer is going to be positive because it's an absolute value. So the negative doesn't really apply in this case. So the easiest way to do this without even using a calculator is to multiply like terms first. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 9 times 6 is equal to 54. And then 54 times 2 is equal to 108. And that is the answer of the absolute value of the product of the zeros of A.